in the midst of a recession or an economic depression, literally, those are your opportunities. Obstacles are things that can push you forward, make it happen. Instead of worrying about what if it doesn't work out, what if it does? What if it does work out? And what if it could have worked out, but you gave up a little bit too soon? Like this guy right here in the picture who just figured he couldn't get out of that cave, out of that tunnel, and he was maybe one strike away from making it happen, and he just gave up. He gave up too soon. See, God remembers, are y'all the future? And if you answered yes, I want to challenge that. You're not the future, you are the present. Don't wait for tomorrow to be great. It starts right now. Today is the first day of the rest and best of your life. Now, I'm going to have you take a look at that picture just for a quick second. Take a look at that picture. All right. Now what I'm going to do is pull up something here up on my screen. That's this little poll, and you're going to need your phones to participate in this. You're going to need your phones to be able to participate. Several times in the presentation, I'm going to slide us over to something. And so grab your phones out and go to your text messaging. Go to your text messaging. All right? And you should see something on the screen that says, how many words did you see? And what you're going to do is go to your text messaging and send a message to the phone number you see up on the screen, 37607. So you're going to text to the phone number, no area code, 37607. Now, in the text box, I'd like you to type the number corresponding to the number of words that were on that picture inside the triangle. Hopefully, if we got our Wi-Fi working and everything going right, you'll see the results come up on the screen. How many words did you see up on that screen? Let's see how many we got. Take your poll now. The phone number is 37607, and then in the text message box, just type in the number there for how many words you saw on the screen. Now, if you want, okay, we're getting some results. We're getting some results. Here we go. Let's get a few more. I can put that on the screen for a quick minute, just in case you missed it before. Let's see if I can throw it back there on the screen. All right. Just to take a look at it again. Go back to that, just in case you missed it. There it is there. There it is there. All right. Okay. Let's go back to our poll and see what we got for our results.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What number? What am I typing in the text box?
You're typing the number that corresponded to the poll there. How many words that you saw up on that screen? How many words you saw up on that screen? Now, I just took it down, and what I noticed was, then apologize just for the time, but there were most people who said there were 3 words, 4 words, etc. And I'll just put it back on the screen. It's probably a little bit easier just to go from here. And if you notice, there's actually 5 words there. It says pairs in the screen. Most people miss the second "the" on the bottom line. Why? Because pairs and "the" on screen is a big difference. So literally blocking out our minds are so powerful that it can take something away if you don't expect to see it. I want to challenge you to see things a little bit differently tonight. And indeed, for the rest of your lives, challenge yourself to a little bit more carefully. That's the not cheap stuff. You know, it may seem like a little bit, that little a big ever get, or if you can drive with a family member and you get that, it's the windshield, a teeny little crack, and you feel it's a little crack, but if you don't take care of it, if you don't address that crack, all of a sudden now the spider web goes throughout the entire windshield. That little thing can make a huge difference. I recently read that people floss actually longer, 7 years longer. No floss. That little 30 seconds that you take every day to floss teeth can literally extend your life by 7 years and make you much happier as a result. You know, people know the story from the Titanic. Well, you probably know the story of the Titanic. Thousands of people died. And maybe you saw the movie from back in the day. But what most people don't know is that there was a guy named David Blair. David Blair was one of the senior officers of the Titanic. And in the last moment, he was pulled off the ship. He was a little bit upset that he didn't get off the ship. He thought he was so important that they pulled him off and he got distracted. He just ran off the ship and forgot to give the key for the next officer taking over. You see, that key was the key that unlocked binoculars for the Titanic. Without the binoculars, as a result, they didn't see that huge iceberg headed away. And as a result, thousands of people died because of one little thing. Getting to give the thousands of people died, one little thing to make a huge difference. You see, for those of you who may be taking some chemistry classes, you know that water boils at 212 degrees, like you see on the right. On the left is just 211 degrees out of water. 1 degree changes everything. Degree changes everything. At 211 degrees, the water is not boiling. It's not purified. It can't power a locomotive. It can kill you if it contains some bacteria at 1 degree more. It goes from deadly to life-saving. 1 degree, 211, it can kill you if indeed there's something in that water that's dangerous. 212, it purifies and it can give your life. It's 1 degree difference. And you're just thinking about that 1 degree difference that you can make. That 1 degree difference right now, you push yourself to a little bit of a higher standard. 1 degree that you that paper over one more time before you turn it in, that 1 more rep that you do in the weight room, that 1 more time you reach out to some support. 1 degree is everything. Now the M for math and is make it happen. Part of it is getting some words out of our vocabulary that keep us from happening. But I can't do it, but it's not my job, but I don't know how to, but, drop from vocabulary. Challenge yourself over the next couple of days, young brothers, to think about it. Often you use some of these words and how it takes away your motivation. Can't. Well, I can't do it. Usually, wants to. But most things we say we can't do good if we dedicated ourselves to it. If only I had more money, if only my the best of what you got. 4th word, try. I mean, what's wrong with trying? That's better to try than not to try. Time told somebody to try your call. Didn't do it. Try to wear a motive. Challenge you not to say what you're going to try to do, but to do. Yoda said, do or not do, there is no try. And the last pretty word is should. I should study more. I should read over that essay. And I should make that phone call. Don't should on yourself. Tell me what you're going to do. And make it happen. Make it happen. Now, the A stands for attitude. Attitudes are contagious. Think about indeed maintaining a positive attitude in life. You can get bitter or you can get better. It's up to you. You can burn or crash and learn. You can indeed get caught up in what's not happening, and you fail to recognize the beauty of what could be happening. See, Dr. Seuss was down by 27 different publishing companies before he sold his first book. 27 publishing companies said no, and he kept going. That's a positive attitude. He believed it. And as you know, those world famous and millions of copies later. I'll know Dr. Seuss. I want to challenge you about what kind of attitude you bring to every space you go in. You know, if you play sports, you know about a plus-minus ratio. Team performance when they're on the field, of course, the same thing in life. What's your plus-minus? Around you, do they get motivated to do more? Does it seem like they don't want to be around you? All know of a teacher that's in your school that everybody says they can talk to. Everybody knows when you need a little motivation that they're those are plus. Everybody knows a teacher that don't bother with, you don't fool with. A coach that doesn't lift love that drags them down. All have these in our lives. I want you to consider your plus minus. How do you add to every situation that you're in? How do you create better spaces around you? And part of it is just literally being kind. You know, the late, great poet Maya said that people forget what you do, forget what you say, but never forget how you make them feel. Remind that indeed how people feel when they're around you matters. Lift people up. Let people go. There's something amazing. Now, let me ask you a question. If you want to unmute, let me get some answers. Let's get you talking a little bit here. Do you care about what people think about you? Should you care what people think of you? And I was going to do a little go back to our poll everywhere, but in the meantime, I'll have some answers. Should you care about what people think about you? Who wants to jump in on that?
So, good afternoon. My name is John Mayer Sharman from the Petersburg chapter. So, to answer your question, do I care what people think about me? Yes, but to a point.
Yeah.
So, like, I do care what people think about me because I care about how I carry myself. Like, how I carry myself, I feel like that relates to how people think about me. So, people who say, like, oh, sorry, I can't think of a big one now, but like, say I'm a bum because I have dirty shoes, but I don't really care that I do care about like my what I wear, but I don't care enough to say like to go out them like, well, what you mean, you know? So I do care to a point. So to a certain point, I do care what people think about me, but not enough for it to control my life.
Okay, excellent. Someone else, feel free to jump in. In the meantime, there's that poll again. 377. And then your answer, yes or no. The text lesson. Next.
Good evening, brothers. My name is Taylor Gilbert from the Port Arthur chapter of the Kappa Guy Right League. I'm the vice president. I feel as though that you should care about certain things with certain people, but I feel as though if it's negative or if it's anything derogatory, that you shouldn't care, especially if you're doing the right thing. I recently learned that a few weeks ago when I started my own rally here in the city of Port Arthur, and I had a lot of people that were saying a lot of negative things, but only because they were jealous. But I knew that because I was doing the right thing that it didn't matter. So you should care with certain people, with the people that really matter. You should care about what they say, because image is always important, and how people perceive you is important as well, because you want people to take you seriously, at the same time work with you. But for those people who are being negative and who are simple-minded, you shouldn't care.
Great thoughts.
I very much agree with Taylor, but I think you shouldn't care what anybody says unless there's someone who you know is doing it for the greater good of you. You should be aware of what people are saying, because that can change how you act for the greater good. But you should not let people affect the decisions you make in your life.
Let's get one more. That was a great comment as well. One more.
My name is Romeo Love from the Ann Arbor Ypsilanti Inkster chapter. And I look at it as I don't really care about what people think about me, especially if they're like not close to me. People that I do care about what they think of me, but it really doesn't affect me that much overall.
Those are ideas. Yeah.
Can I speak?
And I want to, go for it.
Okay, yeah. What was the question again? I'm sorry. What was the
Care
question?
about what people think about you.
I do necessarily yes and no. The reason why I say yes is because people can talk about you, and then you can take what people talk about you, and then you can like reflect on it, which can you do better. And then no is because some people I know some people are different. Some people can get what's that word? Some people can get frustrated easily. So yes and no, but it also becomes on like what mindset you're on and what the topic is about. If that makes sense.
These are some powerful ideas, brilliant minds that we got here. And I want you to keep in mind, and I love all of what you said. And yet, it's interesting, many of the comments focused on what people say bad things about you. Like, should we care? Should we get distracted? And that's a good point. If that person doesn't have to offer, and if it's coming from a place and they don't really care about you, then I recognize we might want to put that to the side. And yet, imagine if you owned a restaurant and you said, I don't care if people think about my cooking. You probably wouldn't do very well in business. And we certainly know that most jobs in this world are actually filled by networking. What people think about you, your brand. See, anybody thinks about Kappa. Anytime that anybody thinks about Kappa, those in the world, they're cheap. They also know that, we're pretty smooth and cool kind of guys, but there's a brand we represent. And it's important that we uphold. And I want you to think about what's your brand. At your school, what is it your professors and teachers are saying about you? And you may say, wow, and if they don't know you to a level where they can say good things about you, there's opportunities you're missing out on. See, a lot of times people say, well, it's more who you know or what you know. And I say it's more important who knows you. Let me say it again. It's not about who you know or what you know. It's about who knows you. What is your brand? When people see you, people say your name, what is it they can say about you? Look, I speak across the country, across the world, as Brother Neely mentioned. I don't do any advertising. I don't do any promotional stuff. I don't make phone calls to companies asking them to pay. People pass my name around. I've built a brand and a reputation that will speak for itself. And so, indeed, when something, people can say good things about you, they'll pass your name around. Opportunities and jobs will come your way. See, most jobs aren't filled by you applying for them. They're filled because people recommend people based on what it is that you can say about them. So just keep that in mind. What is it people do say about you? That's the haters, the people, folks that might not really be in our best interest. Our general brand, I want you to keep in mind what they're saying. So M is for make it happen. A is for attitude. And S is for stretch. I want to challenge you. Just before you work out, you're supposed to stretch because that allows your muscles to be in position to perform at their best. I want to challenge you right now. Take your hand and stretch it out as wide as you can. Stretch it out as wide as you can, like you see there, as far as you can. Now, I want you to stretch it further. Now you can relax. I bet most of you, if we were to get there, I ask you to raise your hand. I bet almost every stretch further. When I said stretch it further, even though I told you to stretch it further for the first time. See, we can push ourselves and stretch ourselves beyond what we thought possible. Challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Challenge yourself to not have what Carol Dweck called a fixed mindset, but a growth mindset. What do I mean by that? A lot of people say, well, it's just who I am, or I'm good at this or not good at that. There's a whole world of things out there. A whole world if you're open to growing and learning. People say things like, well, I'm never going to change. Well, baby, I hope that you're not the same that you were when you were a baby. I hope you changed and grew. We're open to the possibility that there's more there. I want you to stretch yourself to expand your networks. That doesn't mean any different racial groups is any better. What it means, though, is we often tend to hang with people like ourselves. I challenge you, whether it's based on race or age, whether it's based on region of the country or nationality, meet people different from you. That indeed, as the research shows, can make it more harder working, creative, give us new experience and exposure to things that we wouldn't know. Now, I was going to do the poll to ask people. Let me see if I can pull it up here for a second. I'm going to pull the poll up and find out how many people on this call, and this is not going to include the advisors, but how many people on this call actually play golf. So let me just see if the people who are on this call. Let me see if I can pull this up on my screen. We had some little challenges with our tech before, so it took it off my screen. Let me try to find it here. How many of you actually play golf? All right, about 5 seconds it's going to come up on the screen, and go for it. Same 37607. Do you play golf? There's your note that you put in the text box for your answer. Hopefully you see it on the screen. Let's see what we got. All right, the numbers are going. Here we go. All right, it's flowing. It's flowing. We're about 75% no, 25% yes. Now, okay, we'll change, still moving. All right. Wait a minute now. The yeses are coming back. Now, let me just try something here. For my advisors, I wonder what percentage is for the advisors, and I won't pull it up. But I bet the majority of the advisors, I know Loops, we golf. Every time I come so important. Why is it important? Because guess what, y'all? That's where the business deals are happening. If anybody saw Reece Holmes sign that 10-year contract for $300 million, well, he's not allowed to play basketball, baseball. His contract prohibits him. But one thing he can do, and the one thing as soon as he made that move, is to go play some golf. I'm telling you, this is where the deals are made, where the relationships are built. And those who said, well, I don't know, I need you to reach out to some of your advisors, reach out to mentors and say, I'd like to play golf. I want to be different. Maybe a lot of players go play golf, but I want to get that experience. I got a question for you. And the first is, who wants $20? Who wants $20?
Me.
Me.
Hey, who is that? Who is that? Who was the
Jordan.
first me? Who popped up? Who that?
Jordan. Jordan.
Gonna stretch yourself?
Huh?
You ready? Jordan, here's what I need for you to do. Because $20, and I'll cash out you. Actually, first, put $20, Jordan. And I crumpled it up. Right? And I stepped on it, wiped some sweat on it. Still under $20.
Huh?
You still under $20? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. You saw the $20. I've stepped on it. I've treated it so bad. I've dragged it in the dirt. Why would you want this $20?
Say that again.
Why would you want this $20 that I've treated so badly? I just stepped on it. I
Because it's $20.
And why would you want the $20?
Because it's $20, and I could use it for and I can use it to help somebody that really needs it.
I love that. I love that. You know what? Somebody could use this, and maybe it would start with you. So here's the deal. I know what I do to that $20 is still has value. Nobody can take your value away. People can talk, they can take your value. They can keep you from your greatness. They can't take your value away. And so here's what I'd like you to think about. I think I may have lost connection again. You can still hear me. Jordan, here's what I need you to do. The song is Lean On Me. Have you heard of that song before?
Huh? What was the
You heard of
question?
the song Lean On Me?
Lean on you?
Have you heard of the song Lean On Me?
Kinda. I heard a version. I don't know what.
Kinda.
I don't know. I know what you're
So
talking
Lean
about.
On Me.
I know what.
When you're not strong.
Yeah, I know that song.
You know that one?
Yeah.
All right, guess what? For $20, you got to sing those lyrics.
Oh shoot.
I'm challenging you to stretch yourself. I'm challenging you to say that I'll do something out of my comfort zone. Just Google the lyrics on your phone or on your computer. Go ahead and do it. Because I need.
I know.
I put it up on the screen, but and my Wi-Fi seems to be a little off.
I know half of the lyrics.
Give it what you got. What you got.
Okay. Lean on me. When you.
I don't know. I don't know if that was singing. Like you were speaking. If you're gonna go for something in life, I need you to go for it. I need you to have that energy and passion and just stretch yourself. Sing it with some energy and life.
Oh, lean on me when you need somebody to call something. I know it, but I don't.
So young man, I have broadcasted the lyrics for you.
Okay.
You should see them on your screen.
Yeah. Sometimes, okay. Sometimes in our, okay. Can you go back up? Okay, yeah. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're.
Now I need you to sing this part.
Oh shoot!
Sing it. Lean on me when you're strong.
Okay. Lean on. Okay, wait, no. Okay, hold on. Something. Oh my gosh.
Here. We're gonna help you out a little bit. We're gonna help you out a little bit. All right.
Ready? So can I help my brother out?
Look,
y'all,
we're gonna
let's
help him out, right?
Yeah, let's help him out.
Everybody, we gotta help our brother out, right?
All right.
Yes. Sometimes
Sometimes lives
Dun,
are
dun,
have
dun,
pain, we
dun,
all
dun,
have
dun,
have sorrow,
sorrow,
but if
dun,
we're
dun, dun,
if
dun,
we are wise,
There it is.
dun, 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 dun,
Guys,
dun,
always
dun, dun,
lean on me,
tomorrow.
dun,
Lean on
dun,
me,
dun,
lean on
When you're
me
not
dun,
when we're not
strong,
strong,
and I'll
and I'll
be
be your friend. It
we'll go
won't
with
be
pause right there.
long.
We'll pause right
Here
there.
you.
It won't be
Now,
long.
look. Now you got somebody who's playing the piano for you.
Yeah.
You gotta sing it now.
Oh, now you got it going on, brother. You got all kind of backup.
Sometimes. Wait, can I
You
start
got a
over?
little back up there.
Just start.
Okay. Sometimes in our lives, we
We
all
all
have
have pain,
pain. We all have
We all have
sorrow.
sorrow,
But if we're
but
wise,
if
we
we
know
are
that there's
We
always
got a
wise,
while.
we know that
tomorrow.
there's
Always
always
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
lean on
Lean
Lean
me,
on
on
me, lean
me
on me.
when
When
you're
you're
not
though
not
not
strong.
strong.
No, not
and
strong.
I'll
I'll
be
be
your
your
Be your
friend.
friend.
I'll
friend.
hold you
I'll help
I'll
you
be
carry
Carry
on.
or
on.
it won't be long.
Oh,
It
it
I'm
It
won't
won't
be
be
gonna
won't
long.
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 Everybody got their own
But
version.
I'm
somebody
gonna
to lean on.
Sweet song.
oh, on,
Swallow
Just
your.
call on me,
on me,
brother.
brother.
See, y'all singing the remix.
Need a hand.
Call
Watch it. He's doing
Somebody to lean on.
right.
I just
he's
All
doing the
right,
hip
bro.
hop
That was a
version.
good song.
Have a
that you
problem that
understand. We
you
all
understand.
need somebody to lean on. You just
Lean
call
on me.
on brother when you need us.
And
We all
just
need
need
somebody
somebody
to
to
lean on. I
lean on me.
Go.
we all need somebody
Somebody
to
Yeah.
to
lean
lean
on
on.
me.
All right, we'll cut the
Go
singing
ahead,
now. We
Taylor.
got it. We got it.
All
We got
right,
it.
brother Greenfield, it's back to you. All right, everybody.
Oh man,
Oh, that
man,
was
man.
fun.
Point is that the point is that indeed you took that risk. Yeah, I love how everybody kind of jumped to support you. If we were in person, we would have done that is give everyone a chance to kind of, as one group, support this young brother. Indeed, I'm going to make sure you get that $20 so that we can celebrate your willingness to take risks. You got to take some risks. I need you to realize that practice makes what? Practice makes what?
Perfect.
Perfect, but sometimes perfect isn't.
No.
Good practice makes perfect.
No. Nah. Y'all got it wrong. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes progress. You don't
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what
be
I was gonna
perfect.
say.
And see, the problem is sometimes we worry so much about being perfect that we don't even take the chance. Practice makes progress. If you aren't experiencing failure, if you don't make mistakes, your dreams aren't big enough. Let me say that again. If you are experiencing some failure, your dreams aren't big enough. I want to challenge you. Has anybody seen WD-40, the can of spray that helps to make sure that rust doesn't? Well, it's called WD-40 because they messed up the formula 39 times and they finally got it right on the 40th. If you aren't experiencing failure, your dreams aren't big enough. And so don't worry about making mistakes sometimes. Don't worry about maybe not getting it right the first time. If you're pushing yourself and you're challenging yourself, the word impossible broken up is just I'm possible. It's possible. And it may take some time to mess up and learn and get better as a result. I'm going to challenge you. Remember this also, that while we're going through this journey of life, that some of the people riding with you aren't riding for you. That the people might want to come along when it's going well, and when it gets challenging, they jump off. And other people, you know what, the people that might have got you where you are now here can't get you where you're trying to go there. We've got to be aware of the people in our lives that are traveling in our circles. And you know, the K, and there's so much more I wanted to put up on the screen, but having some Wi-Fi issues. The K really just stands for Kappa Alpha Psi. NASK, the business and organization. And it's not just about Kappa, it's being a part of something bigger than yourself. It's about realizing that when you fit yourself with positive people and get mentors who love and care about you, amazing things happen. See, geese fly in a V formation because they realize when they fly together, they generate more wind speed. Geese flying together go 71% faster than they're going alone. It's the way in which, indeed, it's a propulsion of the wind speed. By flying together, they get more done. Fly together. Be a part of things like GuideRight and Kappa League. Be a part of organizations that indeed can connect you to positive people. Identify mentors who can push you and challenge you and help take you to that next level. You know, it's so difficult sometimes to realize that we don't have to do it alone and that we're smarter together. One of the challenges sometimes that young men have is that they need some support. Admitting they don't have all the answers. Taught from day one that we got to have it all. We're taught from day one that you don't admit weakness. But indeed, I think it's strength. It takes strength to say I could use some support. You know, one of our fraternity brothers, Brandon Marshall, who just retired from the NFL a couple of years ago, now does a lot of work on NFL Network, but his real passion at this time is mental health. You see, while he was in the league, he was struggling with mental health challenges, depression and borderline personality disorder, and yet he was told, well, as a man, you never admit weakness. And while he's a great player, he was always in pain. He finally said, I need help. I need to get some counseling. I need to reach out to people. And as a result of that, his game got better. He's happier. And if you watch him now on NFL Network, and I know him pretty well, he's one of the happiest people you're going to find. He still might have those moments because, indeed, health challenges are things we might carry with us. But he's got answers now. But before the beating him up, I was going to use the whole that we're going to kind of find out where people are in terms of their own kind of wellness, their own mindset. But I just want to do something a little different now. I want to open this up. And I want to spend some time before I have the chance to come to close to really be there for one another. Maybe there's somebody who said, I've been struggling with something, dealing with something, or you know what, I've never had a chance to talk about something really important in my life, or maybe I realize I've got some anger that I never let out, or you know what, I realize I'm just unsure about something in my life, and we think of it as weakness. We think it'd be weak to admit it, or it'd be embarrassing to say we don't have an answer, or it'd be difficult to tell people that, you know what, I'm struggling, but that's the liberation that can literally change your life. And then maybe on this call, we could get a few of these young men to say, I need the support. As I mentioned before, geese fly faster when they fly together. The reason we have something called GuideRight is we're here to guide you right. We're here to create initiatives where we can help you to be at your best. And so I'm going to pause a moment. And I want y'all to really think. If there's something in your life that is keeping you from being at your best, if there's something that you have been struggling with but maybe have not had a chance to talk about it, if there's a question you've got that you're on the inside unsure about or hurting about, call in. That'll hold itself. Do we have a courageous young man on the call saying, you know what, I need some support today, or I need some advice, or I need to let something off my chest that I haven't, because I want to be better. I want to be better. Carrying the 50 pounds of weight on top of my back, I can't run as fast. My heart is hurting because I'm angry. I can't love as much. Who's willing to go and take a bit of a chance?
So,
Share something.
good afternoon. My name is John Mayer Sherman from Petersburg. So one thing that's just happened recently is that I had to make a tough decision from playing football and the safety of my family. I played football since I was freshman year. I got injured my first 2 years. I had a pretty good season my junior year. And I was really looking forward to my senior year. But I had to talk to my family. I had to think about what was really going on in the world. And I was really talking to myself, and I said, I don't want to really let my team down, but I don't want to put my family at risk. So I had to make the decision, and I decided not to play football this year, which is very disappointing for me because I really had a good chance. I feel like I could have had a good season, and that kind of sucks, but that's kind of way that life goes.
Yeah, I appreciate your sharing with us today. How do you feel in the end about your decision?
I feel conflicted because, again, the team was really rooting me on and saying that you're really going to start next year, and if I could start. And also, I feel like I did the right thing with saying that I don't want to put my family at risk because there's a good chance that there's people on there that do have it and who are asymptomatic and who do have it. And there's also a chance that maybe really no one does have it. Maybe I made the right decision, maybe I didn't. We're going to see, maybe.
And I just appreciate not only your courage in sharing, but your commitment to your family and recognizing that sometimes there are bigger pictures that we need to be aware of, and folks that indeed need us, and they need to be healthy around us. In the end, you're going to find something even better. I promise you. That something even more amazing will happen as a result of that. And thank you for starting us off. Anybody that want to comment on that, or can I go next? Let's use this space together, brothers.
Yeah, Brother Bernie, I'll comment on that. And, I just want to say, again, appreciate you sharing that. And I've been able to see this summer just what a outstanding young man and promising leader you are. And so you have a real promising future. And, I think you can expect nothing but good things. And your decision is your decision. And it's the right one. So.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Who's next?
I would like to
Who's
share
next?
something.
Take a moment. Go for it.
Okay, well, hey, it's my name, Taylor Gilwood again. I'm here speaking, but one thing that said that you mentioned that actually sparked the interest, and actually is kind of the reason why I started doing what I do now, is like when you said take a risk, and it brings me back to the quote that Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Don't worry about the staircase, just take the first step." And my Kappa mentor and my director, Thurman Barty, he's on here. He's also the mayor of our city. We had a Let Your Voice Be gathering, Let Your Voice Be Heard gathering here in the city of Port Arthur, which is to bring the city kind of together on one accord with everything that was going on in the world following the death of George Floyd. And so after that gathering, a march started to occur. So I took it upon myself to get to the front and lead that march. And so as I led the march, we began to chant out what we were chanting, Black Lives Matter, of course, and no justice, no peace. But as I led the march, I had to remember that I'm only 17 years old, and behind me was 27-year-olds and older. But one thing I noticed was I had to realize that I was taking a major risk, because when you go to a march, you don't go to a riot, you go to a peaceful march, which turns into a riot. And at that time, I wasn't thinking about anything jumping off or happening or transpiring that wasn't out of the ordinary. So as we marched past the police station, we actually approached a police officer who was of a different race. He was white, and he had his badge on. So they wanted him to stand with us. And so I can see like not anger, they weren't angry towards him, but angry towards what was going on in general. So what we did was, I alongside another friend of mine, we went up to the police officer and we talked to him and we said, hey, we just want you to take a stand with us. We understand if you don't want to or not. But he said, no, I want to understand what's going on. So that police officer proceeded to get out of his car. So as he got out of his car, all of the people who were protesting with us just ran up towards him and started talking, cursing at him and fussing at him and, just doing, everything that seems as though it was a riot. But as the police officer was getting talked to, as they were talking to him, all he did was stuck his hand out and, I'm sorry you feel that way, this is why I have my job. After that, that police officer took a knee with us, which sparked a whole different movement. Following that event, after we all dispersed back to where we were going, I had a news reporter come up to me and ask me, why do I feel as though that police officer didn't attempt to tase us or mace us while the people was running up towards him? And how did I feel in that, having that happen in front of me? And like I expressed to him I was nervous. I'm 17 years old. Who's to say the police officer wasn't going to pull out his mace after he was running towards him? But because he understood what was going on, he knew that, hey, I had to take a stand with these people because he knew what was going on wasn't right. And so sometimes we have to take that risk to show, different people that we are standing with you. Sometimes we have to take that risk to get to a different, to get to that place that we want to be. Another instance was I just graduated with my associate's degree, and I was put in a place to where I either had to stay in that program or either go back to the high school. And that was one of the hardest decisions of my life because I had already told everyone I was graduating with my associate's degree or I was just going to go back. So I talked to Mayor Barty, which is my Kappa Guy, right, director, as I said, and he talked to me. We prayed together. And so I made the decision to take that risk to stay in the program. Now I'm proud to say that the risk actually paid off. I'm a recent graduate with my associate's degree and my high school diploma. I've moved on to Texas Southern University as a junior, majoring in broadcast journalism. But I said all that to say that sometimes when you take that risk, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. But I don't know who you believe in, but I believe in God. And when you trust in that higher being and you know what you're doing is correct, all you have to do is just trust and take that risk and you'll make it.
Powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much for being that example, being the change, and making those risks. You know what? You want to be able to look back later in life and say, I went for it. Like I said before, to make it happen, to go for it. And that commitment not only can make a better community, but certainly going to make better opportunities for you. So I appreciate you sharing. Who's next? Anyone willing to say, you know what, I need a little support right now, or I need a little to get something off my chest. And this might seem like a strange form to do it on a Zoom call or a phone call. Maybe it's the best moment to say, I literally want to be better and do better. And I want to take this opportunity to take that kind of a risk. I wish I had done some of that earlier in my life when I went through some painful challenges as a teenager, that I didn't have a chance like this. And I carried that stuff into young adulthood, and it almost ate me up. I wish I had some chances to let out some stuff or to have people tell me they had my back. So is anybody willing to take a little personal share at this moment? And for those who know, seeing it in person, when we have similar kinds of experiences, we've done a whole bunch of community activities, and usually 10, 15 people all want to share. It's just different, certainly online, and then we also had some tech challenges that didn't allow me to do some of the things I wanted to share with you, even on the screen that might get us to that point. But let's just see if there's somebody. Who's that courageous somebody to say, I know I'm not where I need to be, something's holding me back, and it might be myself, or some hurt or anger, and I just want to take that chance today to move forward. Do we have anybody? I imagine, and if we had put it up on the screen, we've got some folks who probably aren't all operating at 100% and could benefit from that chance but I certainly don't want anyone to feel that they must. But it's always a powerful experience if we can get that opportunity to turn to each other and to be with each other as men, to be able to say, you know what, this is hard right now. Maybe I've gone through a little bit of depression, or maybe I have indeed, I've got something going on with some anger I feel with my family, and I just kind of wanted to break free of that. I'll just give 30 more seconds to see if somebody, and I've never had, but again, this is a different format, so it might make, I've never had a shutout with nobody willing to sort of take that next level risk. So let's just see for 30 seconds if there's anybody who wants to go there today. Even our older brothers on the call, take maybe the first to lead by example about what it looks like as men to support each other and to be there for each other and to reach out to each other. Do we have any of the older brothers, whether it's the college students or our advisors? Okay. I hope that, young men, we can not miss opportunities to support each other and to take those kinds of risks. But if no one wanted to go there and kind of let us as a community know that we can actually be there for each other. It's a missed opportunity, but another time perhaps it will emerge for us. And the goal for us is to recognize that indeed we have that power within us. And sometimes it is being able to say, you know what, I'm tired of hurting, tired of being frustrated, and I'm going to reach out to some of my peers. I'm going to reach out to some folks who've got that for us. But I will instead just move to a couple of other kinds of closing ideas. And the silence intrigues me. It intrigues me. You spend some time in these programs together, and especially for our older brothers on the call, to demonstrate to our young guys what it means to be a little vulnerable and risk-taking so that we can heal and be better. I'm gonna push and challenge us to see if we can get there at least at some point. Quickly though, are there any comments, thoughts, questions, ideas that people wanted to toss out there? Anything from me at this moment that you wanted to say or ask? And then I'll move into some wrap-up kinds of ideas. Anything else that people were thinking about? I don't know the rest of what you've been doing, unfortunately, throughout your experience together here virtually. So I apologize. I was traveling, unable to get, and now I discovered that since I had to do some traveling, where I landed, the Wi-Fi was not on point. But anything else? Brother Neely, thoughts or comments?
Brother Greenfield, I know how powerful your message is, and I know this is tough, and even with the troubleshooting we had, it was very touching and powerful. One thing that I did not get is the H in the mass. Stand for, did you say that letter?
The M-A-S-K. M is for make it happen. A is for attitude, positive attitude, caring attitude. All right. S is for stretch. Stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, push yourself. And K, I used to talk about Kappa, but it was a metaphor for, for Kappa League, for Kappa as a general, or just overall our willingness to be a part of something bigger than ourselves so we can grow and expand and meet people and get mentorship and support from a bigger network of folk than just ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
Brother
Burnett, at the end of tomorrow, we can use that as That's a test question for a gift. You can, what's the mask? The letters M-A-S-K stand for.
Sounds good.
There you go. And I feel bad that, again, because of the technology challenge, a whole bunch of other things that I wanted to hope to get us to that point. But as I got cut off the first time, I was saying your greatness, it's your birthright. Others are blind, you got 20/20 eyesight. Others asleep in the darkness, you got to be woke carrying your flashlight. Peers checking their rearview mirrors, you got to be looking ahead with headlights, future so bright, even the moon looks like daylight. Your friends may have short-range vision, but you see the whole world like a spiritual satellite. Their numbers are small like Celsius, but you Fahrenheit. Now their style might be all right, but you're about that drip and keeping it airtight. They think the world is tiny, but you're taking international flight. Their drinks are flat, but your energy's got to be like that fire McDonald's Sprite. You got to let them imitate you so bad, you got to get a copyright to protect your brand and keep it right. The world right now might seem crazy, but you all got to be ready to ignite, excite, expedite, change. Invite your peers. It's your time. Start today. Commit to being the best. Keep your face in a book so getting A's is a snap. Chat with people going places like college. Do it for the grandma who didn't get the chances you have. Shoot for the moon and aim for the stars. Y'all are stars, guide right. And we need you to shine bright. We got to get you to shine even brighter. There's already on this call clearly amazing young men who are doing wonderful things in their community and beyond, in your families and beyond. And I just hope you're thinking about just going for your dreams. Go for it. Just go for it and see what happens. The young man who went for it, he might be thinking, well, I don't know how well I sung. Well, you got $20 coming to you in Cash App. It doesn't matter. You went for it. Anytime in life you start telling yourself, well, I don't know what could happen, and we hold ourselves back, we tell ourselves in our minds to limit our expectations. Anytime we think about, there's someone who wanted to say something before when I left that open time available, and somebody said, well, I don't know, and they talked themselves out of it. The richest place in the world is the graveyard, because that's where all the great ideas go when we die. Because so many people will hold that in. So many people will keep themselves from going for all of their dreams because they're afraid of what people might say. They're afraid if it doesn't go right. I need you to go for it. Make it happen. Have that positive attitude that even when it doesn't work out the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time, you just keep going. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anything stop you. The S for stretch. Push yourself. Stretch out of your comfort zone. Try things that scared you. Look at food that you might go, oh, that looks nasty, and try it. You might find the most amazing taste that you otherwise would have kept yourself from. And again, when you say, I don't want to try it, I don't think I'm going to like it, you've already kept yourself from the next great thing. Because the next time you encounter something unfamiliar, you begin to tell yourself, I last time gave up on it, I won't bother this time. And for that K again, for Kappa Alpha Psi, all these men who dedicate their time and their love, their passion, just to support you. They don't get a penny for it. It costs them money, costs them time. But they're investing it in you because they know how amazing you are. And that's indeed what we just want for you. That today is the first day of the rest and best of your life. You've been here for a purpose. 400 trillion to 1 odds and you won. Don't tell me that you can't be great. Don't tell me that it's not in your future to be the best. And anytime you see an obstacle, thank the universe for that. Anytime you get a setback, thank the universe, because what it did, a setback gave you an opportunity for a comeback. Anytime when something didn't work out, that's a gift to the universe saying, I think you can make it better the next time. Those are gifts. And it's all up to us how we choose to take and utilize all the gifts. As I said before, you're not the future, you're the present. Don't wait for tomorrow to be great. And you are present. You're a gift to this world. There's talent inside of you to make the world better. So many people on this call, and this is how I want to wrap up. I need at least 10 people, and we'll close, to shout out somebody on this call who's made a difference, who's been a gift in their life. It might be from one of the young men to the older men, might be one of the older men to the young men, just like you heard celebrating before the leadership they've seen in you this summer. Who wants to shout out somebody in this call to say, because of you, my life is better? Who's going to give a shout out to somebody?
I'm going to start it off. I'm going to shout out to Charles Scott Sr., who was the lawyer of record on Brown versus Board of Education. But I didn't know that, and he was a guiding influence in my life and a good Kappa man.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Who's next? Let's do some shout outs here. Who wants to thank, celebrate, appreciate, lift up somebody who's on the call right now?
I would say Brother Carl Nero, Fall 74, Ada Pi chapter. I used to go to, in high school, I used to go to Kmart every Tuesday, and he would talk to me about achievement. And I made a commitment to him if I ever became a Kappa brother. I was in Kappa League then, but they call them Junior Kappas. I made a commitment to him that if I made it to Kappa, I'd be committed until the day I die.
That's what's up. Thank you for that. Keep going. Who's next? Somebody needs to know that they have made a difference in your life and they matter to you. Who's next?
Can I say something? Can I say something? Okay, so my co-chair, I think my co-chair, I think that's the term is, his name is Herb Marshall. Before, I got into this stuff, not necessarily Catholic because I've been here for over 2 years, but this experience totally changed me because before all this, I wouldn't say I was antisocial, but I was in that depressing, what do you call it? Depressing, I don't know what the word is, depressing stage, and I wouldn't want to talk to no one. But now I'm learning, and I'm starting to talk to people, open up, ask questions. I used to not want to ask questions. I wanted to figure it out on my own. But I realized not always figuring out on your own is the best idea. So again, I wanted to thank my co-chair, if he is watching, I don't know, Mr. Herb Marshall, and thank you.
That's what's up. Excellent. That's the difference we can make. And I love how you said, I'm starting to learn how to talk and get stuff out so that people can support me and realize that I'm not alone here. Who's next? Who's next? Shout somebody out. I know we've got people that want to celebrate.
Listen, I want to shout out a Kappa brother named Vincent Rhodes. When I was in college, I was having a tough time finishing school. And I was sort of just, not really working very hard, happy to just get C's and get along. And he stopped me one day and he said, "Why are you not even trying to do your best? Have you even thought about what your best is?" And the truth is that up to that moment, it had never occurred to me to try to figure out and give my honest effort to figure out what my best is. And it really touched me that day. I was actually a little ashamed that I didn't have a better answer. And so that next quarter, I really went after academics for the first time in my life and ended up getting a 3.5 GPA that quarter at Northwestern University. And it told me that I could be elite if I just applied myself. And if that brother hadn't stopped and challenged me like that, that probably never would have happened. So shout out to Vincent Rhodes.
All right, well, I am Harry McFadden, and I am Kingstree, South Carolina alumni, Southeastern Province, and I want to give a shout out to Brother Neely. Brother Neely has made certain that I've been instrumental within Guide Right and Kappa League, within the province, and of course within the greater fraternity. My co-advisor David Woods, Reverend David Woods, I'd like to thank him, and also those Kappa Leaguers. All of those individuals have really kept me involved, have kept me definitely dedicated to the cause. And again, I want to Kappa Leaguers, co-advisor, Brother Woods, and also Brother Neely, because Brother Neely will call, he will text, he will invite us to be a part of anything that the Capital League should be a part of. And I just want to say thank you, sir, for keeping us in mind. Thank you, brothers, for your work.
Thank you.
That's what it's all about. One or two more. Somebody needs to hear it tonight. Let them know that what they've done matters.
Yeah, may I give a shout out?
Do it.
Okay, well, I'd like to give a shout out to our national director, Brother Kevin Burnett, whom I met probably some 12, 13, 14 years ago, maybe. And at the time, he was the director of Southwestern Province, Guide Right. And my Port Arthur Alumni chapter had selected me to be the director of Guide Right. And I knew nothing about it. I had been in Kappa Hawaiian High School in the early 70s, at I guess the birth of Kappa League. But I really didn't know and understand, but I had a desire. And he told me, well, just stick with me, man. He said, just stick with Brother Barty, and I'm going to work with you, and you do this and that. And he guided me even up until the day before yesterday when I called him late. Okay, but he is a brother who is true to his word. He's true to the calling. I saw the transformation from Southwest Province director to national director. And Brother Burnett, I appreciate you, and I know that every brother who's involved at whatever level in Capital League Guide Right has an affinity for you. And I thank God for you, and I appreciate what you done for me in my life and my actions here in Guide Right in Capital League.
Here, here. I want to give a shout out to David Woods from Kingstree Alumni Chapter. I want to thank Brother McFadden for giving that shout out. Most of all, I want to thank all of the Kappas that take time out with these young men, especially in times like this, being a role model for them, because many of them come from broken homes. Many of them don't have that father figure in the home. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being that older brother, that big brother, that father figure for every one of these Kappa leaders. I want to thank all of our Kappa leaders for being involved in this weekend, because like they said, they could have been doing anything else. But God has seen it, and God has placed it in their hearts to be here, to be a part of this wonderful conference. And I thank all of the brothers and the Kappa leaders.
You're here. Any of the Kappa leaguers want to say anything?
I'm gonna like to say something.
All right.
I appreciate
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I really do. I really appreciate y'all's support. I appreciate this program. I appreciate every single one of y'all. To the Kappa leaders, to the men that run it, and to the men that graduate. Appreciate every y'all. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Within us is potential for all this greatness. And sometimes it is somebody else who needs to be, you heard from some of the older men on the call, the more veteran individuals who said, you know what, somebody saw something in me that I didn't even know I had. Somebody reached out to me at the time, and sometimes it was a little tough. They might have told you something you didn't want to hear. That's why I asked about, should we care about what people think? Sometimes people who love us will tell us things that we won't always want to hear, but we need to hear. Sometimes we keep people around us who tell nice things to us, but the truth tellers aren't really often being haters. Sometimes they're letting us know, I see something even more in you. So remember that when you get these mentors in your life and advisors, sometimes they're going to give you some real talk. And it's just because they've been there and all they see in you, this greatness, all they want to do is help you to find that. So I love y'all, and I appreciate you taking the time again this weekend. As I mentioned, these are challenging times. And it's been young people who are making the change right now. So young people have been protesting and marching, like we heard from one of the young men on the call, that are changing the world. It took generations to make some of the changes that young people have made in the past couple of weeks. So keep fighting, keep standing up, keep believing in yourselves, and keep pushing us to make a better world, just like we're going to do in response to you. You know, one of my favorite quotes comes from the 2004 Nobel Prize. Her name is Wangari Maathai, and she said, in the course of history, there comes a time when humanity is called to shift to a new level of consciousness, to reach a higher moral ground, a time when we have to shed our fear and give hope to each other, and that time is now. That time is now. Your time is now. Anything I can ever do to support, be there for you, we'll make sure you get my contact information. To brothers on the call, thank you for all you've done. The decision I didn't think I'd ever, when I was in college, I never wanted to be a part of a fraternity. I didn't really understand. And when, as an adult, grown man, it was Kappas in my life who came to me and said, this is for you. And when I took that leap of faith, it's been one of the best things I've ever done in my life. I've gotten support and love and opportunities, and just feeling, indeed knowing that I'm associated with the most amazing fraternity on the planet and some of the best men you'll ever meet. So thank y'all for being influenced. Even if I have never met you, it's brothers like you who will transform my life for the better as a result. So thank y'all. Enjoy the rest of the time that you'll be spending together, and continue to stretch, continue to make it happen, continue to bring a positive attitude, and continue to connect yourself with Kappa and others who will help make a better world and a better life. I appreciate your time, everybody.
Thank you, Brother Greenfield. Yeah. Brother Ward coming back on.
Okay, yes, brother. Thank you, Brother Greenfield. Excellent message. We really appreciate your message you presented to us, to the brothers, as well as the Kappa Leaguers.